Welcome to Grey Propaganda, where we discuss the lies, falsehoods, and politics of the mainstream media. As always, I will cut through the propaganda and summarize the news for you. Today we have an article from Fox News. MSNBC host asks if Trump campaign will call for toning down rhetoric after shooting outside his golf club. MSNBC host Alex Witt asked political analyst Elise Jordan if Trump campaign will call for toning down political rhetoric after this most recent shooting. Just wow. Victim blame much, Alex? How come we're not asking Kamala or Democrats what they can do to tone down the rhetoric? Her interviewee, Elise, responds with, "Yeah, that would be nice, but don't hold your breath because it didn't happen last time, so why would it now?" Which is pretty darn smart and intuitive of her. So I guess that's why she's a political analyst, right? So let's dive into the video before reading the article.
Calls from within the Trump campaign to do that because he's going to reach out to his supporters and say, let's take this down. We do not know, again, the source of any gunshot or gunshots. We don't know who's responsible for this. The whole thing has yet to be 100% confirmed from start to finish how this all played out. But do you expect to hear anything from the Trump campaign about toning down the rhetoric, toning down the violence, or would that be atypical of the former president?
I don't know how long this could, this moment of unity for the country where we come together and we say, I don't want any political opposition to be under threat of violence. It's not okay. Any threat of violence, we don't want. I would love for us to have a unity type moment, but I think it's probably going to be pretty fleeting as we've seen in the past.
So the article begins with MSNBC host Alex Witt questioned whether former President Trump's campaign will be calling for toning down of rhetoric after a shooting outside his golf club Sunday. Shortly after initial reports of shots being fired outside Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, Florida, the Alex Witt reports host asked whether Trump's campaign would begin calls for his supporters to begin toning down the violence. Do you expect there will be calls from within the Trump campaign to do that? Witt asked at the time, because he will reach out to his supporters and say, let's take this down. We do not know the source of any gunshots or gunshots. We do not know who is responsible for this. The whole thing has yet to be 100% confirmed from start to finish how this is all played out. Now, this was shortly after the shooting, I would assume. So, yeah, not saying that you don't know that you have the whole picture. Smart. You don't. We don't have all the info, but that's quickly coming out. And honestly, it's just weird of her to start jumping to conclusions that Trump is the one that needs to call for toning down of rhetoric when we don't even know all the facts yet. Is she worried like this will escalate and this violence will be targeted towards Kamala? Is that what she getting at? I just think this is a bit of silliness and jumping on to a new story when you have nothing to add to it except your propaganda, except your vision of how things are in your worldview and your politics. So further down the article, it says, she continued, but do you expect to hear anything from the Trump campaign about toning down the rhetoric? Again, this is all stuff in the video. Elise remarked, well, remember back to the assassination attempt of Donald Trump's life and how there was talk of a new tone and the Republican convention was, by Trumpian standards, muted. And it did seem like he was trying to take it down a few notches. But then by the end of the convention speech, we were back to where we started, in a bit of a crescendo, in a climax, right? She continued, I don't know how long this moment of unity for the country, where we come together and say, I don't want any political opposition to be under threat of violence. We don't want that. I would love for us to have a unity type moment, but I think it is probably going to be fleeting, as we have seen in the past. Pretty spot on. I don't think this really changes much. And if any of these assassination attempts actually connected, and unfortunately, are successful in the future to take down Trump, I think these same people would be smiling and jumping for joy at home. I think this is totally just a front that they have to put on, to the general public, right? So Jordan also wondered whether people on both sides of the aisle would work to take the temperature down. How have we gotten to this point when the demonization of the other side, it is no longer politics. It has gotten bigger than that. The calls for violence, the violent rhetoric, and look at what happens. This heated rhetoric can only go on for so far before, unfortunately, it has led to violence on both sides of the aisle. So I think it is something that Democrats and Republicans have to be very cognizant about. What can we all do to take the temperature down? Jordan asked. The article continues with, initial reports of the shooting described two individuals targeting one another and that Trump wasn't the target. However, as new information came forward, the FBI released a statement saying the incident appeared to be another assassination attempt on the former president. The suspect has been identified as Ryan Wesley Ruth. Law enforcement sources have confirmed to Fox News. He was allegedly armed with a rifle when agents fired at him. He was able to push the muzzle of his gun through the chain link fence outside the golf club, authorities said. He was 300 to 500 yards from Trump. Secret Service spotted Ruth and opened fire. Ruth was able to get away, but was later stopped by authorities and arrested. He was found with 2 backpacks and a GoPro camera. The rifle was recovered from the bushes outside the golf course. The incident comes approximately 2 months after an assassination attempt on Trump during a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.